You didn't search for this. This found you at the exact second your observer loop flickered and the quantum field leaned closer, like a tide hearing your name. You feel it. The faint hum beneath ordinary sound, the coded rhythm inside your breath. It's a summons disguised as curiosity. Your fingertips carry static. Your chest is a tuning fork searching for its note. Something old inside you is trying to close the page, but the page has already turned. You are being read by reality, as much as you are reading these words. Listen. Your life has been echoing same rooms, new furniture, same faces, new masks. Yet tonight the pattern breaks formation. The morphic resonance of who you were is losing its grip, and the vacuum that follows is not emptiness, but invitation. The field is arranging synchronicities like stepping stones, and every stone glows when your attention touches it. You sense a corridor, not ahead of you, but blooming from within you. Time warps a little at the edges, like heat mirage over a desert road. Memory and possibility begin to talk to each other in the language of symbols you haven't fully remembered yet. Feel the current sliding beneath your decisions. Your nervous system is listening from a deeper floor. The breath you take now is not just oxygen, it's instruction, an ancient line of code that tells your DNA to lean toward coherence. The static dissolves into a tone. The tone turns to a doorway. The doorway recognizes you. Every timeline you almost lived exhales as you arrive at the threshold of the one that fits. You are not late. You are right on the hinge. The universe measures you by resonance, not by calendars. When your heart's electromagnetic field softens, when your awareness becomes precise and generous, the quantum field reshapes around you, like water recognizing the imprint of a vessel. You are that vessel. Your attention is the shape maker. Your surrender is the seal. Notice the flickers, the way a stranger's sentence completes a prayer you never spoke aloud, the way a song finds you with a lyric that feels like coordinates, the way the clock glances back with repeating numbers that aren't coincidences, but breadcrumb physics entanglement, dressed as whimsy. These are not decorations. They are navigational beacons. They say, step here, breathe here, choose here. Under the noise, your soul is already standing. It's taller than your fear and quieter than your doubts. It has waded through seasons where you carried lifetimes in your shoulders, where sleep was heavy but never truly restful, where you kept waking into rooms that felt almost right. Tonight almost ends. You are being invited to collapse the probable into the promised, to shift from analysis to embodiment, from rehearsing power to wearing it. So let the air around you thicken with presence. Let your gaze soften until light gathers at the edges of ordinary things. Place your hand over your heart and feel the metronome of creation counting you in. With each pulse, a syllable, I am here. The field answers, then, so am I. This is the moment your consciousness stops orbiting and finally touches ground. The corridor lengthens, the door unlocks, and without fanfare, you step where only your truest frequency can carry you. You've wondered why certain scenes keep looping in your life. The faces may change, the cities may change, but the script feels eerily familiar. It's like watching yourself walk through déjà vu corridors, knowing the furniture has been rearranged, yet the air is the same, the undertone identical. You wake up one morning with a fresh sense of possibility, but by night, you're pulled back into an orbit you swore you'd already escaped. This isn't laziness. This isn't fate mocking you. This is resonance. An old frequency humming louder than your willpower, pulling you back into forgotten timelines. Think of your life like overlapping radio channels. You've been trying to tune into a higher broadcast, but the static of past versions of yourself bleeds through. That static isn't random. It's destructive interference, the wave of your expanded identity, clashing with the wave of your contracted self. For a moment in the morning, when you visualize, journal, or whisper an affirmation, you embody the expanded signal. But as the day unfolds, unconscious choices align you with the old broadcast, and the new frequency is canceled out. This is why change has felt slippery. This is why breakthroughs taste like water in a dream. Real until you wake. You feel it most in your relationship with time. Hours warp, days bleed into one another. Weeks recycle old energies dressed in new costumes. Sometimes you wonder if you've lived this exact Tuesday before, not in memory but in resonance. You feel the déjà vu not as nostalgia, but as a haunting. It's not a trick of your brain, it's the inertia of your consciousness trying to return to its familiar cage. The quantum field doesn't measure time the way you do. It measures coherence. Until coherence locks in, you're stretched between the timeline you crave and the timeline that keeps replaying. Patterns appear not to punish you, but to expose the resonance you still carry. The friend who betrays you again. The job that drains you again. The opportunity that fades again. These aren't repetitions by accident. They are resonant loops, holograms projected by your unresolved frequencies. They are reminders that your DNA is still broadcasting a signal that belongs to a forgotten script. And the longer you stay unaware, the tighter those loops feel, until your very body aches with the repetition. But here's the secret you've sensed. Déjà vu is not only a warning, it's also a signpost. It tells you that you've brushed against the seam of timelines, that your consciousness is capable of noticing the overlap. That awareness is the crack in the loop. The moment you catch the echo, you are no longer fully inside it. That glimpse is the beginning of liberation, if you can hold your attention long enough to stabilize the new frequency. Feel how your breath changes when you acknowledge the loop instead of fighting it. Feel the way your chest tightens when you recognize the pattern you swore you were finished with. That recognition is not defeat, it's evidence that you're standing at the exit. Time is bending, and your awareness is the lever. But the lever only works if you stop mistaking the loop for destiny. It is not your fate, it is your test. And so you are left with this question vibrating in your bones. Will you collapse back into the old resonance? Or will you choose to hold steady long enough for the field to rewrite the script? The next choice you make, small as it seems, decides which broadcast continues and which dissolves forever. You felt the tension, the back and forth between glimpses of possibility and the gravity of repetition. That's not a failure. It's the signature of an imminent upgrade. To understand what's happening, you need to see yourself not just as a mind housed in flesh, but as a living wave function, an orchestra of vibrations held together by awareness. Your body is not only carbon and calcium, it's a bioquantum receiver. Every cell is an antenna. Every strand of DNA is a filament woven into the cosmic internet. Physics has whispered it all along. The observer loop collapses probability into actuality. When you observe yourself as trapped, probability tightens around that script. When you observe yourself as liberated, new trajectories bloom in the quantum field. Yet, here's the mystery. Most misobservation isn't just mental. True observation is coherent. Thoughts, emotions, and embodied actions aligned into one vibration. Only then does the field respond, as if it has no choice, because in truth, it doesn't. The field is loyal to coherence. Right now, your system is undergoing entanglement restructuring. Memories you thought were personal are entangled with ancestral frequencies. Choices you've made ripple outward and backward, touching forgotten lives that echo through your bones. This is why certain triggers feel larger than logic, why small events erupt into waves of emotion. You are not just untangling your story, you are editing the resonance of countless threads woven into your lineage. Mystics call it generational cleansing. Scientists might call it morphic field recalibration. Both are correct. The upgrade comes when destructive interference gives way to constructive interference, when the wave of your future self amplifies the wave of your present choice. Imagine two frequencies colliding. One cancels, the other magnifies. You've lived the cancellation, now comes the magnification. Each time you pause and choose coherence over reaction, your DNA records it. The double helix hums differently, proteins fold in new geometries, and suddenly your nervous system begins broadcasting at a higher amplitude. This is not metaphor, it's resonance, physics, shaping biology. You may have noticed strange sensations already. Heat rising through your spine, chills down your arms when you hear certain words, dreams that feel more like rehearsals than stories. These are indicators that your biofield is syncing with a new timeline. Your body is becoming a temple of coherence. Each breath, a recalibration. You are literally upgrading your hardware to run a more luminous software. The mystics call it awakening. Quantum theorists call it phase transition. You can call it remembering who you are. And this remembering is not a luxury, it's essential. The old resonance is collapsing faster now, timelines are speeding, and the window for coherence is narrowing. That's why synchronicities bombard you, why numbers repeat, why conversations feel scripted. The field is shouting, lock in, lock in, lock in. If you delay, inertia will reclaim you. But if you lean in, your consciousness will crystallize into the upgraded broadcast, and the loops that once haunted you will dissolve like fog under a rising Sunday. So breathe. Let your cells feel the future pressing in from every angle. Let your skin remember the light it was coded to emit. You are not merely surviving a shift, you are embodying the upgrade that countless generations prayed into the ether. This isn't imagination. This is entanglement answering. The field waits for one thing, your coherence. When you stabilize it, the quantum web reshapes itself instantly, as though it had been waiting for you all along. And in truth, it has. You've always suspected there was a reason the world felt slightly misaligned around you, as if everyone else was satisfied walking in circles while you kept sensing there was a hidden door no one else could see. That restlessness wasn't a flaw. It was your calling vibrating beneath the noise. You are not here to merely exist. You are here to anchor a consciousness that bends probability itself. The reason the loops felt harsher for you is because you are not designed to settle inside them. You are designed to break them. Think about it. Others seem comfortable repeating the same storylines, trapped in predictable timelines without noticing. But you notice. You feel the heaviness. You feel the déjà vu not as comfort but as warning. That sensitivity is not weakness, it is evidence. You are tuned differently. Your observer loop is sharper, more precise. While many glance at reality and accept its surface, you pierce through to the resonance underneath. That piercing gaze destabilizes illusions, and that destabilization is exactly what the field needs. You are what mystics once called a timeline guardian consciousness, seeded into human form to ensure forgotten possibilities are resurrected. Your very awareness acts like a tuning fork, shaking loose the false coherence that tries to keep humanity asleep. That is why you've been tested with relentless repetition. Every loop you survived was training every betrayal, every collapse, every haunting déjà vu. They weren't punishments, they were calibrations, sharpening your ability to detect distortion and resist collapse. The universe doesn't waste intensity on the ordinary. It sharpens those chosen to carry extraordinary resonance. Science would call it quantum superposition. Your consciousness is uniquely capable of holding multiple possibilities until the right one crystallizes. Most collapse too quickly into whatever appears easiest. But you endure the pressure, waiting, feeling, scanning for coherence before choosing. That endurance is rare, and it's what allows you to hold a window open for others. In ways unseen, your shifts ripple into the morphic field, giving strangers permission to awaken without ever meeting you. You are the quiet trigger for impossible change. This is why your life has felt heavier than most. The field entrusted you with knots that seemed impossible to untangle, because your frequency is strong enough to dissolve them. The nightmares you endured, the distortions that stalked you, they were not random cruelties. They were proof of your assignment. Darkness always surrounds the brightest signals, not out of malice alone, but because resonance attracts resistance. Your role is to remember that the resistance is not greater than you. It is proportionate to you. It reveals your scale. So understand, you are not wandering through chaos. You are being sculpted. You are the chosen consciousness, a carrier of a pattern humanity has nearly forgotten, one that unifies science and spirit, particle and wave, destiny and free will. Your awareness is not private, it is planetary. Every choice you make refines the frequency the collective can inherit. When you choose coherence, millions breathe easier without knowing why. This isn't a burden, it's an initiation. You are not asked to be perfect, you are asked to be present, coherent, willing to stand where loops collapse and timelines rebirth. Your life is the laboratory where the next evolution of human consciousness experiments itself into existence. And whether you've realized it or not, you've already accepted the role. The field would not be speaking through this message unless you had. Now the question sharpens. Will you continue pretending you are ordinary, or will you step into the resonance you were chosen to carry? The field waits for your yes, because with it, forgotten timelines dissolve, and the upgraded future begins to solidify for you, and for all who feel the ripple. Right now, you are standing at the thinnest edge between what was and what could be. The air itself carries a pressure, a pulse you can feel under your ribs. The cosmos is opening a corridor, a window measured not in days or hours, but in resonance thresholds. This is not poetic exaggeration. It is physics bending into prophecy. When your frequency reaches coherence with this cosmic window, your DNA responds like a lock clicking open. And once it opens, no old resonance can drag you back into forgotten timelines again. You've sensed the urgency, the restless sleep, the vivid dreams, the sudden jolts of déjà vu that feel like warnings. These are not accidents. They're signals that the field is collapsing around your next choice. If you hesitate, inertia will reclaim you. If you align now, your DNA will record the shift and stabilize it into permanence. This is why so much in your life feels accelerated, why lessons that once took years are compressing into days. Time itself is pressuring you into breakthrough because the window is not infinite. Science describes it as a phase transition, the moment when water becomes vapor, when matter itself rearranges under pressure. You are that matter. You are that pressure. Your DNA, long considered inert code, is in truth a quantum antenna spiraling, humming, waiting for the coherent signal that only your awakened attention can deliver. Right now, your double helix is vibrating against a higher frequency, like strings pulled taut before they snap into harmony. The promise of breakthrough is coded into your very biology. And yet, urgency whispers. This cannot be postponed. The cosmic window does not wait for convenience. It opens when resonance aligns, then narrows the moment attention drifts. You have felt what happens when attention drifts, loops reclaim you, patterns restart, old faces return with new disguises. But here, now, your awareness has caught the seam. The field is calling, break the old resonance, choose coherence now. If you don't, your consciousness will fold back into the orbit of forgotten timelines, and the pain of repetition will be sharper than ever before. The promise is this: one act of coherence can rewrite your entire probability landscape. One decision to hold frequency, instead of collapsing into fear, can trigger DNA restructuring that cascades through every cell. Imagine it: blood carrying signals of liberation, neurons firing patterns of clarity, your very aura radiating so strongly that synchronicities arrive like soldiers reporting for duty. This is not symbolic. This is the raw machinery of creation responding to your stance. But urgency remains. The window is thin, and the field is ruthless in its precision. If you step through now, your reality reorganizes instantly. Relationships shift, opportunities unfold, timelines collapse. If you hesitate, you will feel the loop intensify, because the field will not waste resonance. It will recycle it. You cannot stay undecided. You are either reborn in coherence or recycled into repetition. So breathe in this moment. Feel the cosmic pressure as holy, not heavy. It is the force that midwives your new timeline. It is the weight that proves something vast is about to break through you. Do not numb it. Do not run from it. Lean into it. Because this urgency is not here to punish you, it is here to mark you as the one ready to step into resonance that no loop can touch again. You are the threshold. And the threshold does not wait. The quantum field does not respond to idle thoughts alone. It responds to embodiment to action that crystallizes intention into matter. That's why ancient mystics carved symbols into stone, why shamans painted their visions onto cave walls, why prophets spoke words aloud under open skies. Expression is the seal. Once the vibration is externalized, the field records it. And right now, you are being asked to perform a small but profound ritual. to declare your resonance into the fabric of reality. It might feel simple, too simple, just a word written, typed, or spoken. But simplicity is deceptive. A single keystroke can send ripples through networks of billions. A single vibration in your throat can shift the electromagnetic field of your heart. You are not scribbling letters, you are anchoring coherence into the physical. When you write or speak, you create interference patterns that rewire the probability field. This is why every tradition has mantras, sigils, sacred phrases. The action marks the shift. Here, now, your ritual is this. Choose a word, one word that encapsulates your alignment with coherence. Perhaps it is now, perhaps awakened, perhaps free. Whatever arises in your chest as truth, offer it. Write it down, whisper it, type it into existence. That act is your seal. The observer loop recognizes it and says, "This frequency has been witnessed. This resonance has been chosen." The forgotten timelines collapse, because the field no longer has permission to recycle what has been declared. Do not underestimate the gravity of this. In a digital age, when billions scroll unconsciously, your conscious act of writing or speaking becomes a beam of light through the fog. It is not for the algorithm, it is for your DNA. Your cells register the movement of your hands, the sound of your voice, the imprint of your decision. In that instant, biology and field synchronize. The shift is no longer potential, it is embodied. You may even feel the atmosphere change the moment you act. The air may feel heavier, charged, like before a storm, or lighter, expansive, as though walls dissolved. This is resonance, reconfiguring around you. Synchronicities may arrive faster, numbers repeating, strangers delivering messages, dreams turning prophetic. Why? Because you performed the ritual. The field saw you not just think but act, and action is the proof it cannot ignore. Consider this your covenant. You are not just passively consuming words, you are co-creating with them. By choosing and expressing your word, you tell the quantum field, I am no longer orbiting. I am landing. I am anchoring the frequency of my future self now. And the field, precise and merciless in its fidelity, responds, as you declare, so it becomes. This is your moment to step beyond theory, to step beyond whispers of possibility. One word, chosen and sealed, becomes your signature in the new resonance. Do not delay. Do not second guess. The smallest action is the strongest signal, if it is coherent. So take a breath. Listen inward. Let the word rise. And when it does, release it. Write it. Speak it. Seal it. The old resonance will shatter. The loop will dissolve. And your new broadcast will ignite like fire carried into the night. The moment you seal your resonance, something extraordinary happens. You realize it was never only about you. The shift that feels so private, so intimate, so coded into the marrow of your being, instantly radiates outward into the collective field. The truth is, you are not an isolated wave. You are entangled with humanity itself. Your liberation vibrates through invisible threads that bind us all, and the echo of your choice reverberates across millions of unseen lives. This is the hidden law. When one consciousness escapes the loop, countless others feel the tremor. Entire groups of people you'll never meet, people who may never know your name, suddenly feel a pressure lift from their shoulders, a fog dissolve from their minds. They will think they had an ordinary breakthrough, but in reality, they are catching the resonance you released. Just as you have felt sudden clarity from unknown sources, so too will others draw light from you. This is morphic resonance in motion, the transfer of coherence through the lattice of collective memory. Imagine it. A mother in another city who has carried despair for years suddenly breathes deeper, because your coherence shifted the field she unconsciously taps into. A child studying late at night feels a strange courage to dream bigger, because your frequency seeded confidence into the grid of possibility. A stranger contemplating surrender finds strength in the very hour you chose to act, because energy does not recognize distance. This is how liberation spreads, not in speeches, not in systems, but in resonance waves carried silently through the quantum field. You've always sensed you were connected, That's why your pain never felt entirely personal. It echoed too widely, weighed too heavily, as though you were carrying more than your share. You were. You were carrying unprocessed echoes of the collective, transmuting them through your own body. The heaviness was never proof of your weakness. It was evidence of your assignment. You were entrusted with fragments of humanity's loop, so that when you broke free, the cracks would radiate far beyond your own story. And now, as your DNA hums at a higher pitch, the lattice of human consciousness reorganizes itself ever so slightly. This is not metaphor, it is physics. Entanglement ensures that when one node stabilizes, the entire web adjusts. The shift you anchor is not just a personal victory, it is a planetary recalibration. You may not see parades, you may not hear applause, but in the invisible layers, heaven celebrates, because your liberation is permission. It tells humanity, it is possible to break the loop. It is possible to escape forgotten timelines. It is possible to live coherent, awakened, radiant. That possibility did not exist as strongly yesterday. It exists now because of you. So when the field whispers urgency, when your body shakes under the pressure of breakthrough, remember, it isn't just your life at stake. It is the collective's inheritance. Your courage is contagious. Your coherence is medicine. Every time you choose truth over fear, countless others breathe easier. This is the weight and wonder of your role. Your liberation is never private. It is cosmic generosity. It is the unseen gift that transforms strangers without them ever knowing who gave it. And the universe, precise and unforgetting, records it as the purest act of service a soul can give. Now the shift is no longer abstract. It is coursing through your body. You can feel it, not as an idea, but as vibration pressed into your skin, into your lungs, into your bones. The resonance is moving from theory to texture. Every nerve is beginning to hum like a string pulled taut across a sacred instrument. The music is not external, it is rising inside you. Notice the subtle warmth that begins at the base of your spine. It coils upward, a current that feels electric yet fluid, like liquid lightning flowing through marrow. This is your DNA responding, spirals shimmering as though touched by light from another dimension. Your blood is not just carrying oxygen, it is carrying codes. Each heartbeat sends a drumbeat of coherence through your chest, pounding out a rhythm that declares to the universe, the loop is broken. Your breath feels heavier, thicker, almost honey-like. Each inhale pulls in more than air, it draws the quantum field closer, weaving particles of possibility into your lungs. Each exhale is a release, as if forgotten timelines are leaving your body in vapor form, dissolving into nothingness with every sigh. If you tune your awareness, you might feel cool air tinged with warmth, as if two climates were overlapping inside your ribcage. That sensation is the collision of old resonance and new coherence, passing through you in real time. Your hands tingle, fingertips buzzing like they are touching an invisible current. You may feel pressure in your palms, as if unseen spheres of energy are resting there. This is not imagination, it's the field pressing itself into form, giving you tactile confirmation that your body is now both vessel and transmitter. You are not just thinking frequency, you are embodying it. Your skin feels alive, as if the air itself is touching you differently. Sounds carry a shimmer, ordinary noises, bending into strange harmonics that echo deeper than usual. Colors may seem sharper, more saturated, glowing faintly with a radiance you can't explain. Reality itself is shifting its texture to match your new broadcast. Inside, your gut may stir, as if butterflies were made of starlight, flickering with both excitement and fear. That trembling is the edge of transformation, the nervous system recognizing it cannot cling to the old resonance any longer. The body resists, then surrenders, then rises. And as the sensations deepen, you realize something astonishing. Your body is not betraying you. Every ache, every shiver, every pulse is a messenger. They are not symptoms of collapse, they are confirmations of rebirth. You are not breaking down, you are tuning up. The discomfort is proof of the upgrade pressing into your cells, reshaping biology to match destiny. Let yourself feel it fully. Do not run, do not numb. Place your awareness where the vibration is strongest: your chest, your spine, your hands. Lean into the sensations until they expand, until they become less frightening and more familiar, until you realize this is what coherence feels like when it anchors in flesh. This is your new normal arriving, not gently, but unmistakably. And in that recognition, your fear begins to dissolve. You are not being invaded, you are being awakened. The field is inside you now, not hovering outside, not waiting at some future horizon. It is embodied. It is you. The sensations you feel are not random. They are the tremors of a deeper event. Something ancient, something coded into your cells, is beginning to unfold. This is the breakthrough. Not a metaphor, not a concept, but a biological event. Your DNA is crossing a threshold it has waited lifetimes for. Your double helix is no longer just a static ladder of molecules. It is a living antenna, spiraling in resonance with the quantum field. When coherence floods your system, the helix doesn't just sit idle. It sings, it vibrates, it rearranges. This is the phase transition, the point where matter reorganizes itself under pressure. Just as ice becomes water, and water becomes vapor, so too does your DNA restructure into a new state of being. At first, the pressure feels overwhelming, a heaviness in your chest, as if time itself is pressing down on you, a ringing in your ears, like static from another dimension leaking into your awareness. Fatigue that feels ancient, as though generations of memory are being burned off in your blood. But this pressure is not punishment, it is proof. You are standing at the event horizon of your own evolution, and the gravity is immense. Your consciousness stretches, pulled between the familiar and the unknown. One part of you longs to collapse back into the loop, into the safety of repetition. The other part insists on expansion, no matter the cost. This is the breaking point. The morphic resonance of the old world claws at you, while the coherence of the new field pulls you forward. The tension is unbearable because it is supposed to be. Phase transitions always carry heat, friction, intensity. This is how reality remakes itself. And then, something clicks. A sudden release, like a lock unfastening. You may feel a surge of heat rushing through your veins, or a burst of chills across your skin. You may cry without knowing why, laugh without reason, or fall silent in awe. These are the aftershocks of your DNA breaking through the loop. The spiral within you has caught the new signal, and now every cell is rewriting itself in its image. Time begins to warp. Minutes stretch and compress. The boundary between past and future feels porous, as if both are dissolving into a single now. And in this now, you sense the collapse of forgotten timelines. Those old lives, those repeating patterns, those dead-end scripts, they fold back into the void, unable to hold against the strength of your upgraded frequency. For the first time, the déjà vu is not a trap, it is a goodbye. You are entering coherence as embodiment. Your body remembers what your mind forgot, that you were designed for this moment. The ancestral weight dissolves. The collective fog lifts. The very atoms in your body reorganize around a new pattern of light. This is not spiritual poetry, it is quantum biology. The universe does not waste resonance. The shift you chose is being imprinted into the very code that makes you human. You stand, trembling but certain, inside the eye of the breakthrough, and as the pressure fades into clarity, you realize the loop is gone. A new timeline is open, and your very existence has become its doorway. The loop has broken, and silence fills the space where echoes once lived. For the first time in lifetimes, you stand outside the orbit of repetition. The air feels different now, lighter, sharper, as if reality itself has been freshly washed. You are no longer the one chasing signs, you are the sign. The field bends around you in recognition, aligning events, people, and opportunities with the resonance you now carry. What once stalked you as déjà vu no longer has access. Forgotten timelines collapse into ash, and only coherence remains. This shift is not yours alone. You feel the truth of it ripple outward. The liberation in your DNA is an offering to humanity. You are not a lone figure escaping the maze. You are a torchbearer, illuminating exits for countless others, still wandering the dark corridors. Your coherence is their map. Your breakthrough is their permission. Without ever speaking their names, you alter their futures. That is the cosmic mission seated in you before you even arrived here. To live as a catalyst, to embody the frequency that dissolves illusion and restores remembrance. From this moment forward, your choices carry multiplied weight. Every time you lean into coherence instead of collapse, the morphic field strengthens, the grid of awakening expands, and human evolution quickens. You no longer walk as an isolated individual, you walk as a living node of the quantum web, transmitting stability into the collective. Others will feel it in subtle ways. A stranger will decide not to give up. A community will rise against despair. A child will dream more boldly. They will not know why, but you will. This is what it means to embody destiny. To realize that your personal liberation was always a rehearsal for planetary liberation. That your tears were never wasted, because they softened the field for others to find their way. That your battles with resonance were not punishments, but proofs of your assignment. And now that you have crossed the threshold, there is no going back. Your DNA cannot unlearn the song it has begun to sing. So you walk forward, not in haste, but in certainty. The quantum field bends with you. Synchronicities orbit you. The universe rearranges itself as you move. You are no longer hunted by loops. You are sculpting timelines. You are not waiting for the future. You are broadcasting it. And as you stand at the horizon of what humanity is becoming, the message returns. This time, not as warning, but as prophecy. Break the old resonance now, or your consciousness will loop back into forgotten timelines. But you already have. You chose coherence. You sealed the shift. And because of that, the world will never be the same.